What's up, boys? And we're here with the Golf Wars show. Here with my man Snyder and my boy Bryce. How we doing today, Snyder?
We're doing pretty good. Excited for some links golf over the next couple weeks. Wake up in the morning and half your team's already done, so it'll be fun to sweat this out overseas.
Bryce? Mute.
Going nuts in the background.
Oh, there we
go. I love overseas golf. This is like my favorite swing of the year. We were at the British Open, or the Open, as they would call it.
That's true. I'll tell that story in a minute.
I would keep some of them to the vest, but that's up to your discretion. Really, I was your guest that week. We had a great time over there. I love this swing, as I said. So, I'm super fired up for this week, and especially next week. Like this week, you see some pre-major shenanigans. If guys are kind of out of it, they will just kind of let it go a bit. So I think that adds a bit of variance, and I do see kind of a wind advantage this week. So I love playing wind advantage stuff on links courses. So sign me up for this tournament for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I see a fairly big advantage for one side this week. If you're not a strict links player, somebody who has a ton of experience in this area of the world, I think you may struggle if you are in that side of the field that did not get the favorable advantage. Might as well get right into it. At the top, Scotty Scheffler, 13,100. Snyder, how are you treating it? Because he's on the wrong side.
Yeah, it'll probably be I was going to play right around 25% of him anyway, so I'll probably be slightly under the field or right with it. I think right there, he's got some of the best form heading in. I mean, we know he's won 3 of his last 6 starts there, T3 here in 23 as well. I don't think the wind speeds that we're seeing there I don't think will affect him too much. I think we're going to see maybe 13 to 17 mile an hour winds the Friday afternoons. I don't think that's enough to deteriorate his game at all. So I think he's still a fine play right there with him up top. You just talking about him first, or are you going all the way?
I think that he is his own topic.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I think he's just a guy you need to have some of. I think 25% of is probably just fair and adequate for him. I think this week.
I'll just jump in here. I think the big advantage is not necessarily the negative wind aspect, but the fact that the Friday, these links courses, their only defense is the wind.
Yeah.
So Friday AM, the wind is 0 to nothing. It's 1-2 miles per hour at max. And so the guys that are going to get to play on Friday morning are basically getting to play a muni. And so a lot of guys are going to shoot crazy low scores Friday morning. And even if you're Scotty Scheffler, I think that makes winning the tournament pretty difficult based on, the circumstances. He could shoot -7, -8 in 13, 17 mile an hour wind. But Tommy Fleetwood is probably going to shoot that on Friday morning. Bryce, you have a similar take?
Yeah, I think I definitely want to play the wind advantage this week. So I think the way to play it is to play the best players in both waves and kind of let the mid-tier and lower guys be your wave advantage stuff. I don't want to fade Scotty this week. We'll get into another guy I don't want to fade, but there's 2 morning guys I really want to play here, and Scotty is one of them. I do prefer Rory to him. But I think that's kind of going to be the way the field might go a bit. I think they'll be pretty even. What do you think on their ownership?
I think Rory's going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, especially in high stakes. I think that Rory.
The Fantasy Golf World Championship round 2, 150 max, or sorry, not 150 max, 150 people remaining. I think that Rory will be significantly higher than Scheffler. I could be wrong because a lot of people hate Rory, but I favor Rory a significant amount myself.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to play them. I have more Rory than Scotty right now, and it's definitely a price thing too. Because like, I really don't want to play any of these like absolute dog shit like Euro Tour guys.
You know, Kuragawa.
Yeah, like that's not really my vibe. You know, I don't see a lot to play down there. I mean, I think there's some guys that could do well, and we'll try and highlight them for you. But yeah, you just make such a better team with Rory. I know we were talking about this earlier. Like, if you look at the penny matchups on him, like Rory's plus 135, and Snyder was saying that got steamed down pretty heavily throughout the week. So, I think
all the PM guys on Friday have gotten steamed down like crazy.
Yeah. So I definitely think there's a wave advantage part to that. And like, because any other week, Scotty's going to be what? Minus 220, like minus 200 or better. I think that would kind of be the floor for his matchup against Rory. And, some of that's links golf, but, it kind of opened there and got steamed down. So I'm sitting at around 40% on Rory and about high 20s on Scotty. I think it's possible to just like make a rule to where you kind of need one of them this week. Like, you can still play Bobby Mack with them. It's just you get a lot better team with Rory.
Yeah. And this guy's asking me a direct question. I'm not even doing that. I'm not playing Scotty at all in the final. Just fading it. Like, I'm playing two Rory teams. I'm not playing Scotty at all. So if Scotty beats me, then that sucks. But I'm just not playing him, being in the bad wave. But Snyder, what do you think about Rory? Because he's obviously the second person up here. And I much prefer him to Scheffler.
Yeah, you look at Rory's recent form. He's coming off that T6. Has some of the best form at this course also. He was the winner here 2 years ago and was T4 last year. The only slightly thing that maybe worry me a little bit with Rory is potentially maybe overlooking this onto next week. He's got the home game next week for the British Open. That's the only thing that gives me a slight pause with him. But like you said, the matchup market is definitely moving his way. He opened as a minus 195 favorite and it's down to minus 150. So there's a lot of movement going Rory's way. I think Rory is the better play in a nutshell. Talking pricing there, 1,700 cheaper. Basically, fairly similar odds on Pinnacle there. Plus what I see 567 to 966 right now. So I'll have Rory probably. I'll be about with the field, I think, on Rory. I don't think I'm going to go too overweight on him this week, but I definitely think he's right there. I mean, he's got the great course history. The course sets up great for his game. He's just going to slam driver off the tee, hit it 350 plus a lot on this course, I think. So I think his game sets up really well for him. So I'll probably be about even on both of them. I'll probably play like 25% of each. Just have that slight worry in the back of my head. You see it. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we saw at like the Canadian Open there, where Rory showed up for basically 2 days and then mailed it in. But I do have a slight worry with him with a big home game next week. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him next week, like there was for the Masters earlier this year.
Yeah, so I don't think the AM wind isn't as much to change the first round as the second. That's correct. The first round, I think, I bet Scotty Scheffler to be the first round leader at plus 1,600, not even as a hedge, just because I think it's a good number. But the problem is what's going to occur in the second round and how easy it's going to be in the morning, that Friday morning. We'll move into the next segment here. We'll go from Xander at 10,100 down to Sam Burns at 9K. Bryce, there's a couple plays in this range that seem to really stick out, and one of them's on the bad wave. I think you feel the same way as I do. Mute.
Sorry, Mateo's having a night. I'll just get straight to Bobby Mack here. I don't really want to fade him, even if he's not in like the perfect wind wave. He's such a good links player and he's so underpriced. Like, I mean, if you're looking at Penny, he's what, third favorite at 9,100. I I think he is pretty much the best play of the week. So, guys like him and Scotty, I think I might just play them in the bad wave and then kind of move on after that. As I said at the start of the show, I'm much more apt to play like the favorites at the top. Well, Brian, I hope you enjoy a show of Mateo not barking in your ear, because I certainly do. So everything has its ups and downs, but try and do better with that for you guys. I mean, I think Bobby's pretty much the stones here. Fleetwood, I'm much more apt to play him here on a link style course. I think those are the two guys that you really want to hammer. And then I think Victor Hovland is my play in the middle here. I don't really think anybody's going to be on him. Obviously he has a decent amount of variance to his game, but he's in the good wave. And, I really want to play like top down this week with the top guys, as I talked about. So you can't get everyone. I'm fine fading Morikawa. I know Snyder likes him, but if he beats me, he beats me. I'm not like really enamored to play like Aberg or JT or, especially Sam Burns here. So yeah, I'm just kind of going with the wave guys and Bobby Mack.
Snyder.
Yeah, for sure. Fleetwood's the best play, I think, up here. Besides Bobby Mack, they're both right there, 1-2 for me this week. Fleetwood's got the good draw, like you said, too. Coming off that blown finish at the Travelers, finished T6 or better in 3 of his last 5 trips here as well. The market's moving his way as well. He's matched up against Ludwig in the matchup market, and it's moved 40 cents in Fleetwood's direction. So I think Fleetwood's a great play. Xander's a good upside tournament play. I'll be interested to see where his ownership kind of comes in, because Scotty, Rory will take a lot, and then he could get sandwiched in there between Fleetwood. So I think Xander and Morikawa both are good tournament plays. I think both of them are going to get squeezed because I think a lot of people will go to Fleetwood and then Hovland and McIntyre over Morikawa, kind of leave him maybe around 10% or so. I'll have a little bit of Morikawa. I think his game's kind of showing some signs of life off that T8. It was T5 here last year as well. Gets a new caddy on the bag. I think it's a good caddy for these 2 weeks. He's got more of a link style caddy for these 2 weeks. He's got subbing in, so I think that could be some good mojo for him. And the way it sounds, that caddy's not going to take much shit from him, so maybe the caddy will kind of set him straight a little bit. But I think he's fine. Hovland's a good play too. He's in the perceived good weather wave there as well. Off JT this week, I think he's a trap play. I'm not going to play him. And then Bobby Mack, he's got the great course history here. He was first last year, runner-up the year before. Enters with great form too. He's got the 4th best odds on Pinnacle, and he's favored over Hovland in the matchup market as well. So Bobby Mack was even what was he, like T18 back in 21 here as well, when he wasn't near as good as he is these days. So I think Bobby Mack's a great play. And then Burns, I'm going to have some of Burns. Be interesting to see where he comes in at. I've just been playing Burns for the last couple of months. Once I seen that approach play kind of came back for Burns, I've just been playing him. He's been right inside the top 20 a bunch. Has a couple of top 20s at this event too, and almost had that win a few weeks back as well, finishing second at the Canadian Open, and then was T7 at the U.S. Open as well after that.
So I'm going to answer a couple questions here. What's the percentage of the field do I think actually plays the weather edge? Higher stakes, it's going to be higher. Like if you're playing a $2 contest, it's not really going to be that relevant. But if you're playing the Thunderdome, it's going to be everyone. So, the higher stakes, the sharper it gets, the more people that will do it. Mo, let's see, Thursday a.m., Friday p.m. bet. No, that's not exactly what it is. It's that Friday a.m. is so fucking easy that they're gonna be able to just rip the course apart on Friday morning. So that's the advantage as of now. Obviously, the weather can drastically change in Scotland, just like it does, in the southeastern United States. But that is the situation. To talk about this range, from Xander down to Burns. I agree with you guys that the best plays are Fleetwood and McIntyre. I'm not too concerned about the bad wave with McIntyre because he's such a strong win player, and his price is, more than fair. I totally agree with Bryce on Victor Hovland. I bet Victor Hovland at 40-1 on our partner site DraftKings. I think it's a great bet. McIntyre is 30-1 there, which those two bets are fucking amazing. So McIntyre 31, Hovland 40-1 are two of my favorite bets of the week, and they're both in this range. I'm definitely mixing in Morikawa and O'Bear. The worst play in the range is Justin Thomas, as Snyder alluded to. Sam Burns definitely in the mix, but I am not prioritizing him. Then we'll go into the 8Ks. We'll go from Connors down to Maverick McNeely. Snyder, we'll start with you. How are you feeling about this range? I've got one guy that I'm really targeting, and I'll get to him after you're done.
I think there's a couple of good clicks here that I'll be looking at this week. I'm not sure on Connors, not sure on his health. The market's moving away from him as well, so I'll probably be off of Connors. I do like Fitzy quite a bit here. Finally has some good form going in with him. Has shown the ability to play well here at this track as well. There's been some large move in this direction versus Sepp as well in the matchup. It's been a 55-cent move in his direction versus Sepp in the matchup markets. He's minus 175 versus Sepp now. So I like Sepp quite a bit, or like Fitzy quite a bit, and I'm off Sepp. I think Adam Scott's an interesting play. He's kind of priced up, I think, a little bit in this kind of interesting range. 8.6 for Scott is kind of seems a little pricey, but I think he's fine. I think he's a guy you need in the pool if you're MMing or 150, and he's favored anywhere from minus 115 to minus 125 versus Connors. Ryan Fox been playing some of his best golf of his career. Has seen a move in his direction versus Wyndham in the markets as well. T12 here in 23. My guy Harry Hall, I just keep playing Harry Hall every week, and he keeps finishing top 20 or better. It's been a big move in his direction in the matchup marks. He's matched up with Aaron Rye. Rye opened a minus 125 favorite, and now Hall is the minus 125 favorite, so about a 50-cent move in his direction. I think Rye is still fine, a solid mid-range option. I like Hall a little more than Rye, though. Then I think English is fine if you want to go there, but mainly I like Fitzy and Harry Hall the most in this range for me this week.
Bryce?
Not a range that I absolutely love. I do like Fitzpatrick here. Other guys in the good wind wave that I'm playing. I'm playing one in the good wind wave. Ryan Fox, Harry Hall, JJ Spawn. I would rank it Harry Hall, then Ryan Fox, and then I think there's a pretty big gap down to like a JJ Spawn or a Harris English type. So I definitely like the link style players here a good bit more than the rest, and really talked about getting the stud golfers in and getting like Bobby Mack in. So one of these ranges kind of has to eat a bit of shit, and this is it for me.
I'm going to talk about this first. Because
what about the caddy?
So Harris English's caddy was not permitted a visa to enter the United Kingdom yesterday because of a cocaine dealing conviction from the mid-aughts around 2005. Or sorry, mid-90s, and then he served 10 years in prison and got out in 2005. And then he immediately came out and was the caddy for Anthony Kim at the Ryder Cup, unknown cocaine addict. And then he started caddying for Harris English. And then Harris English started crushing. So it's kind of crazy that all that is going on and there's that many moving parts. But Harris English does not have his caddy this week. So I am not quite as interested in Harris English as I would be normally because he's had this guy for like 10 years and, he's not there. I don't think he's played a single tournament without him since like 2013. So definitely not, definitely off of English. Fair play in this range, agree with Bryce. Matthew Fitzpatrick, this fucker, he can play in the wind, and he's in the good side. So I'm heavily on Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's in my optimal lineup. I do love Adam Scott, despite him being in the wrong side, just because he has shown an ability to play in these kinds of conditions, and he's done well on links courses. And while he hasn't won the British Open, he's choked it away a few times, so he's been right there. Ryan Fox, came from the European Tour over to the PGA Tour, so he definitely has a heavy history on links courses. So definitely in on Ryan Fox. I'm in on Harry Hall. I bet him to win the tournament at 65 to 1 on DraftKings. So I agree with Snyder there. Beyond that, in this range, they all kind of fucking suck. McNeely, I guess, is okay, but he's a Nepo baby, so probably not playing him very much. We'll go down to the higher sevens. We'll go from Taylor Pendrith down to Brian Harman, 79 to 75. Bryce, who's your favorite play in this range? I feel like there's one obvious one. And then how do you feel about some of the lower owned options?
I like a decent amount of guys in this range. We're going down to 7-6 here, including
7-5,
them.
down to 7-5, down to Harman.
Okay. I like Rasmus Norgard Peterson is kind of my favorite play in the range. I think there's some other guys to like. I like Rasmus Højgaard in the good wave here. And those are my two favorites by a pretty good margin. Other guys I have, Pendrith, small amount, not projected to be a buy for me. Siwoo, don't really love him in this spot, but getting some of him. Tom Kim, Nick Taylor, and Benny Ann, and then I think Alex Noren's a pretty strong play here. Him and Harman kind of round out the range for me. I would prefer them to spending a little bit more on some of the other guys, but I would rank it kind of Norgard Peterson, Rasmus Højgaard, and then everyone else.
I'll jump in here. I agree. Norgard Peterson is the best play in this range by a significant amount. He's in my core. I bet him to win the tournament. He's 80 to 1 on DraftKings. I think that is a ridiculous number considering he's plus 59.86 on Pinnacle. So go to DraftKings and bet on Rasmus Norgard Peterson to win the tournament. After him, my favorite play would be the other Rasmus Højgaard at 7,900. Love that play. I always have Rasmus Højgaard, so definitely not getting off it this week. After him, Young Hoon An at 7,500. Another guy that came from the European Tour, has a significant history playing links courses, has a significant history playing in the wind. I do like him here. Snyder, how do you feel?
There's only a few guys I like in this range. I think you guys hit on Norgard there. I think he's going to be the more popular guy there. Has really good odds. The matchup markets has him and Grayserman matched up together, and they're basically even money in that matchup market. So I like Grayserman quite a bit as well. So I got him. Rasmus, I just never seem to get him right. He's T21, miscut T10, miscut in his last four at this event. Kind of a mixed bag of results there. Usually seems to come out like really strong round one, and then he kind of peters off throughout the rest of the event. But I think Rasmus is fine. Dietrich's got good course history here. He's flashed some form at times. Should be a good landing spot for Dietrich here as well. Siwoo's always a good upside play. Benny On's definitely a guy I look at. A putter is just always up and down with him. Just one of those guys that is a great tournament play. Just always I just get scared shitless to play him at times, but I think he's a good play as well. Grayserman and Norgard are probably my top two favorites up here, but I don't have a ton of conviction outside of like Norgard on the upside of these guys. I guess Brian Harman's right there as well. Isn't the longest guy, but he's got great short game for the links golf here. He's been T21 and T12 his last two trips here. We know he's got the British Open title as well. He was 8th in his last outing, so I think Brian Harman's a solid guy there. Noren, I think Noren could be a guy you should have in the pool. A T10 here last year has been up and down with the recent form, but yeah, I think Norgard is my favorite, and then Grayserman, and then maybe Harman.
Thomas Dietrich, I do like Thomas Dietrich. I have him a decent amount. Snyder Smoke on Grayserman, I think they're very, very similar plays. So I do like Thomas Dietrich. We'll go into the next range, 7,400 down to 7K. Daniel Berger down to Eugenio Lopez Shakara. Snyder, how are you feeling about the soldier range?
Yeah, we got a couple soldiers down here. I hit on the soldiers first. We've got Goddard up as one of the soldiers this week. Has been inside the top 30 in 8 of his last 9 events. The ball strike has been very strong for him as well. He's gained over 1 stroke off the tee per round his last 36 rounds. And the putter's finally starting to show some signs of life as well, as he's now gained putting in 2 straight events, which is huge for Goddard. If he can keep that going, he'll be right up there again, I think, this week. Kevin Hughes, another soldier. We've used him a couple of times this year. 3 straight strong performances from you, going T21 last week, T25, and then he was 3rd up in Canada. The ball striking and putter have been solid for him. We just need to see him putt better at this track than he has last year. I think he will putt better this year as well. I mean, it really was really bad putting here last time. And then we're going right back to Lawrence as another soldier this week. He made the cut last week, just really struggled over the weekend. It was one of his worst 2 rounds approach play in months for him. So I think he'll battle back with much better approach play this week. Has a top 25 already at this event as well. So we've got him there. Daniel Brown won last week, but he's a pretty big dog to Pienges, or however you say his name, is minus 140 versus him. Has a win recently, has good form heading in, has better just finished in 4 straight events. So I like however you pronounce that, Marco Pienge or whatever. So I like him decent amount at the bottom then, and then kind of going up. You got the big rig, Pot Geyer is right there with a WD last week. He was in fine position, I thought, and I don't know if he got too tired or what the deal was. That was definitely hurtful, especially to Mark on a couple of teams.
Hey, they all got through.
That was a good deal. Bryce will like Mateo. Mateo's back in play this week. Always love playing Mateo when he's at a cheap price tag like this. He was T6 at Canada. I was at T15 at this event last year. He's minus 130 versus Chikara in his matchup market there as well. Hotel Lee has just been playing strictly on the Euro Tour as of late. Has a pair of top 5s his last 6 events with a win back in February. So I like him a decent amount. He's been really good with the approach play too, hitting 75% of his greens regulation last 36 rounds for Hotong. And then Jake Knapp's been playing well in the last 3 weaker type field events. Kind of has that bomber narrative going for him. Just not sure how his game will translate to the links, but he's getting some love in the markets there. So for Jake Knapp, so I think he's a fine play there as well. Jordan L. Smith, I always like playing him overseas. T12, T24, 2 of his last 3 trips here, was runner-up in his last start at the BMW. 2 other top 10s in his last 6 events. So Jordan Smith has some good form he's rolling into here with. And then I think Nikolai Hogar is always a good pool play with upside as well.
Right.
I think this is a range that I'm like kind of really living in, trying to jam some of these top guys in this week in tournaments. So I'll just kind of run through the plays and how owned I have them. I like Daniel Berger a lot here. He's one of my favorite plays in the range. Sam Stevens, just because of the wind advantage, he makes my team. Same with Mitchell. Don't particularly love either of those. Nicholas Norgard Muller, I do like this week. Mateo, I never really play him, but I think this is a spot that you can definitely play him. So I'm going to have some Mateo just for the vibes there. Justin Rose is kind of fighting to make the Ryder Cup team a bit. I think you could see him play well over here on the swing. I definitely prefer Jordan L. Smith. I think is one of the better plays here in the range. Matt Wallace, I think, is very strong. Michael Kim, don't love him, but he's in my pool. Pot Geeter, I don't think he's hurt, to answer someone's question in chat. I just don't think that his game really suits what you want to do here. Like, he's kind of driving and putting, and that doesn't really matter quite as much here. But It will be an easy course in this wind advantage. So I do think you can go out and get it some. Victor Perez, I think, is a decent play here. Tristan Lawrence. Goddard is one of my absolute favorite plays in the range. He is my highest owned guy down here. Kevin Yu, I have Daniel Brown. I don't know a ton about, to be honest, but he's going to be completely
coming off a win last week, right?
Yeah. He's going to be completely unowned. I'm seeing, so I just want to play him for that fact. Andrew Novak. I don't love a lot of these guys that don't have a lot of links experience, but he is my pool. Clanton kind of falls into that bucket as well. Jesper Svensson, I do kind of like here. Bud Cauley, Alex Smalley, I have some of. Matthew Jordan, and Marco Peng. I'm not sure if that E is silent or not. Penge. Well, I have a decent. I got a decent amount of him, so hopefully he can come through for us here.
Yeah, my favorite play in this range. I think I agree with you guys. Chris Goddard is significantly better than basically every other play. He should be probably close to 8K. So him in the good wave. I'm definitely on Chris Goddard up. After him, we got my boy who, even though he withdrew last week, he still hooked it up. Aldrich Potgieter, 7,200. Definitely going in on him again. Snyder spoke on Jake Knapp and how the course fit doesn't make sense and he's in the bad wave, but the money keeps coming in on him. He's just been playing really well. And I think that, sometimes there's a case to be made where, hot hand theory type shit for golf. And so I do like Jake Knapp a significant amount here. Jordan Smith at 7,300 in the bad wave, but significant, great wind player. So I'm definitely going to be in on him. Matt Wallace, 7,300 as well. We'll have him a very, very good amount. And then at the lower end of the range, as we talked about, Marco Penge. Is it Penge? Marco Penge, definitely in on him. He will be making it into one of my Fantasy Golf World Championship final teams. And then one of the soldiers, Kevin Yu, 7,100. Love him too. We'll get into the dregs now. And I know I'll start with Snyder because I know he's got a really strong opinion on one of these guys. How do you feel about the 6Ks?
Yeah, I think there's a few guys down here that I don't mind getting into. Mainly guys on the Euro Tour here. Christopher Raytan, or however you say his name. Raytan. I mean, he's got some elite courses or elite form heading in over on the Euro Tour. He was T4 at the BMW in his last event. 4 events ago, he won. And then he's got a couple other really high finishes. I think his game should translate really well. He's been putting the lights out too. The short game's been good. He's been good off the tee, so I like him quite a bit. And then Francisco Laporta, or however you pronounce his name.
Laporta.
Oh,
Sam
yeah,
Laporta. You know Sam Laporta?
Yeah, I just got the font really really small right now, so I can see everything.
I wonder if he's related to Sam Laporta.
Yeah, Francisco Laporta. Just you think he just grades out across the board, gaining strokes across the board. Last 36, great form coming into T7, T10, T7, T27, and T11 in his last 5 starts on the Euro Tour. I think he's a really strong play. Where is that other guy? Got there's another Euro that I like quite a bit down here. Martin Corvara, I think he's a solid play at 6,900. There's a couple others I had. I think Jacob Bridgman. He's not Euro, but I think he's a really good play down there.
Coach Jacob Bridgman.
He's back. He's finally starting to play good after he was kind of went on a little lull there. T5 at the John Deere, T26 at the Rocket. I think he's got a really good game.
Price.
Yeah. Laurie Cantor was T7 in his last event at the BMW. I think he's fine. There's just a few guys down here I think can really make some noise, especially these Euro guys. Marcel Schneider, maybe a relative of mine, down there at 6,700. But that's about it for me down here. I'm not going to push too hard on some of these guys But I think there's definitely some plays down here. Andy Sullivan, if you want a 6,500 guy, pretty good recent form on the Euro Tour. Has 4 of his last 5 finishes have been pretty solid. He missed a cut in his last one, but that's fine. Jorge Capello, I think he's fine. He's got some good recent form.
Come on.
T26 in his last outing here. I just have this font really small so I can see everything. But I think there's some solid plays that you can get down here in the 6Ks for sure this week.
Bryce, how you doing?
I didn't really want to play a lot of the dregs this week. I do just have a couple guys at 6.9K because I always include 6.9. Bridgman, that retain guy, EVR, as much as I hate him in general. And then I think Matty Schmid is a very strong play at 6,900. Really tried to avoid the punts because, like, if you look at roster construction, you can fit Scotty, like Bobby Mack, and then like low 7K guys for the most part. You don't really need to go down this name. It's with Snyder's luck, Daniel Brown probably has like some British pronunciation,
Danielle.
BS Daniele, or I don't. That's obviously not.
Do you know his parents? Do you know the correct heritage of his name?
It's something.
They don't
with
have
Snyder's luck, it would be some weird ass pronunciation as to where he would mess that up. But yeah, those are kind of my 4 guys in the 6.9s. I didn't include anyone below them.
Yeah, my favorite play in this range is Jacob Bridgman because he's the fucking GOAT, obviously. After him, Christopher Raitan, as Snyder spoke about, is just ripping it up on the Euro Tour. So I don't mind him at all. He's definitely heavily in my high stakes mix. I think I played him like 20% in the the $600 contest. It's 600 this week. Matty Schmid, great play. Van Rooyen, hate him, but playing him. Ewan Ferguson, another one to definitely play. As you're moving down, if you're needing to get cheaper, Ryohei Satsune, Taylor Moore, Jonathan Vegas, you can play all those. 67, the best one would be Richard Mansell. Keeping it moving down at 66, I would probably play Adrian Sadier over the others in that range. And if you're looking for an absolute dreg, Yuto Katsuragawa at 6,200, I absolutely think you could play him, and he made it into my pool. Now, we'll move to the everybody's favorite part of the program, Pick 6, sponsored by DraftKings, dkng.co/RPS. I'm still never going to figure out how to make this shit work correctly on this triple screen.
Here, let me.
You think you got it?
I think I might be able to figure it out. Let me find.
Okay, hey, let's see it. UFC. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Now you got to put your screen on.
One gripe.
I just go from here.
One gripe with our favorite site. Why does it say PGA Tour? It's the DP World Tour, is it not?
Yeah,
this is a DP World Tour.
Well, no, it's a dual event. It's both. It's both.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Okay. We'll get into our pick 6 here. We'll start with you, Bryce. What's your first pick 6 pick for this week?
I really like Nirgard Peterson. We talked about him on the show. Better than 46.5 finishing position.
Better. Snyder.
I like Harry Hall to make the cut.
Holes completed. Harry Hall. All right. I will go with Robert McIntyre. Better than 26.5. Bryce.
Wyndham Clark, worse than 46.5.
Wyndham Clark. Sucks. Snyder.
I'm going to go Chris Goddard, better than 46.5.
Chris Goddard, better than 46.5. And just to make you angry, Scotty Scheffler, worse than 4th.
There we go.
2 wins, at least 14-1.
Bang.
Checking location. Oh, I can only get $53 down.
They limited me last week on 2 of mine.
All right, 53 to win 742, 14 to 1.
Or better.
Any final thoughts, guys?
I had a fairly sized free bet I used on Nørgaard Peterson to win. So
Love that.
Yeah, always take your free. If you do get a free bet every now and then,
Take a huge one.
Yeah, because you're not getting your principal back. So just take like kind of the biggest odds that you can. Obviously, like you want the money, but
as I spoke about earlier, McIntyre and Victor Hovland have crazy good odds on DraftKings. So bet those.
Yeah, I mean, like 20 to 1 is better. It is definitely good enough. You don't have to go like absolutely crazy.
He was 22 to 1 on DK also. They've got good odds on a lot of them.
Good.
Snyder.
I like some McIntyre, 20 to 1 winner without Fleetwood, Rory, Scotty, and Xander. I think that's pretty solid as well. But yeah, we'll have the showdown stuff will be up for rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well. And we'll be in Discord all night answering any questions as well.
Yep, I will be up to lock. So if you have a question, ask me in the chat or DM me, and I will answer it if you are a member of Run Pure Sports. For Mitch Snyder and Bryce, later.